Scorpio, you have done something and you're going to do something, and there's like this desire to put a bow on it because it was a present to yourself or a present to someone else, but nobody else is really seeing it that way, or they can't see it yet. There's some kind of destruction involved in this situation, and you know why you did what you did, and you know you did it for yourself. But the way that you're looking at it, or the way you will be looking at it, is starting to frustrate or irritate you. You're second guessing your morality, almost like your ethical choices. So the first card I had for you coming out was staying alive. So I want to tell you, Scorpio, that whatever you did or whatever you're planning to do was for your survival. And this could be like in a real literal sense, hopefully not, or just in terms of who you are as a person, your identity or your growth. I heard your growth factor. The way you choose to grow is through this process of death and rebirth, which sometimes, most of the times, involves some kind of destruction. And a lot of the times it's driven from this deep place within you to get the ball rolling, and others just don't really understand why you took action the way you did, and in that way you come off as secretive or manipulative or whatever, whatever people say negatively about Scorpios. Oftentimes it comes, not all the time, right? We're not going to make any excuses, not all the time, but oftentimes it comes from a clash of energies and not understanding the Scorpio way. Now again, this isn't all the time, right? We all have a polarity to each sign, where signs have, different malicious qualities, right? And I know Scorpio gets a bad rap quite often, but that's because Scorpio does sit in the 8th house, and nobody is a big fan of the death and rebirth process. Nobody is a big fan of the Tower, which Scorpio is linked to through Mars being the ruler, as well as Pluto, right? So whatever it is that you're trying to put a bow on and give to someone else is like, see why I did what I did? I had to do this. Or to yourself, oh, this is why I did what I did, or this is why I'm going to do what I need to do. You need to give it some time. You need to give it some time to grow some legs, okay? Because right now, it's just really nascent. Whatever it is you did is really nascent, so it needs some time to grow some legs. Patience is required. But during this time, I feel as though you are feeling a little bit stuck, and I don't really know exactly what this has to do with. So let's look at this spread that I got going on here for how to get you unstuck from this energy of like, it's interesting because it's like you're feeling super empowered and powerful, both within and without, I'm hearing. If you can create that kind of disruption, I heard it in distraction, outwardly, and create such power, then it's a reflection of within. The amount of chaos and destruction you can create within, but by your own hand. And that's pretty powerful, because when you're able to do that to yourself as well as outwardly, then other people's ability to do it to you really has to match your own. So how do I say this? If somebody wants to fuck with you, Scorpio, they're going to have to try really hard, because you already know how to fuck with yourself pretty good, in ways that get you forward, and also in ways that sometimes set you back or make you feel stuck. Being powerful isn't always negative, and neither is destruction. Some things need to fall for new things to be built. That's just your way. That's just your way. And we all have Scorpio in our chart, right? So some people need to be reminded of that. Some people need to be reminded of that. And wherever Scorpio is in the chart is usually the place where someone's experiencing or creates conflict in their life. And we all create a certain degree of conflict, okay? So Scorpio, I feel like people, the way I'm speaking to you now, I feel as though you feel people don't quite understand you. They don't quite get why you are the way you are. I'm not going to take these, but I'm just looking at Ace of Wands, Eight of Wands, King of Pentacles, and the Eight of Swords. See, it's like there's a certain amount of inner processing that you need to do that creates anxiety both within yourself and with others, right? In order to give yourself a sense of stability, because it's like, how can, and I think I might have said this in another reading, I'm not sure though if this was in a personal reading or not, but it's like, how can I be the king of my own castle if I don't know what's going on in the left wing, right? Scorpio wants to explore all parts, good and bad, of themselves, sometimes knowingly, sometimes not, but those actions can come out and in order to see them, manifest them. Oh, okay, so that's the darker side of myself. Okay, so now I know all of my castle, right? And that's a really empowered place to be. Now, of course, it's not great when other people get hurt. Absolutely, not condoning that. But you do have a particular process in which you tend to hurt yourself a little bit. But for you, that is how you gain the insight and the momentum to begin something new with the Ace of Wands and the Eight of Wands. It's how you stay alive to a certain degree. It's a necessary force in the universe, right? It's like that saying, energy can't be destroyed, right? Energy can only be transformed. And that's who you are. You're that key of transformation for other people. And a lot of you need to just realize that you are going to be a catalyst for a lot of people, right? You're not necessarily, depending on your other placements, you're not necessarily going to be, that pillar of strength, unless maybe you have a lot of Capricorn in your chart, right? But there's always going to be some tumultuous turmoil brewing up in order to get people to transform, people who are stuck. You unstuck them. Okay, so when you feel stuck, it's a really shitty feeling because that's not your way to feel that. Okay, it creates a lot of conflict inside of you. All right, let's see. Scorpio. Card falling out here, the Hangman. Yeah, stuck. So let's get unstuck. Wow. Lots of people showing up in this spread here. Nine of Swords at the bottom. See, you've released, I don't know where that Eight of Swords is now, but if you remember the picture, the birds are all tied to the woman. And that's creating a sense of anxiety. But here they've been freed, right? The birds have been freed. And in that freeing of the birds, there's a sense of anxiety for you. And the birds representing your energy, your actions, people that maybe you let go of, or parts of you let go of. There's a sense of sadness around this, right? A sense of anxiety, like I didn't want to release that energy. I didn't want to let go of that, but I had to let go of that, even if that causes someone else's pain, or even if it causes me pain. I have to let go of it because I know that's the way the wheel turns. I know it. So some of you left somebody out in the cold. And so for you, I feel like that means you just put an end to something. Yeah, you knew you had to release something here in order, with the Devil card and the Nine of Cups, in order to really feel happy again and get a new beginning. So some of you just went silent on someone. Some of you just put an end to something, and it created a real big tower moment for someone else. And I feel as though there's a difficulty here. And if this hasn't happened, then it definitely could be coming up in the month of June here. This could be something you're thinking about doing. Okay, how should you do it? You don't want to do something bad to this person or yourself. If you let go, is that letting go of, someone else? It's all this kind of conflict. But are really feeling this drive towards something new, a transformation, a new beginning. You're tired of this same energy, okay? So the surface issues, the Page of Wands, is wanting to be free, I heard. I'm hearing like, how can I catch this baton if I'm using it to fight? So it's like you're used to having that baton in your hand to fight off things. And it's like you've thrown it away, right? You've thrown it away. You're done with that fighting, that craziness I heard. And now it's coming back down because just because you threw it away, right? It's like it can't be destroyed. Energy can't be destroyed. So it's like that energy is coming back to you and you want to catch it, but you want to do something new with it. But it's almost like you feel as though you're still holding this baton, even though you're not. Like you feel like you're still in the fight, even though you're not. Okay, so there's some kind of energy between you and the baton that needs to get cleared out so that you can catch it and do something new with it. Let's clarify here. Do I want to clarify with this deck? I kind of want to use something softer for you, Scorpio, because I feel as if this energy is a little bit harsh. You know what? I'm going to use this deck, and I've never used this deck before. For a public reading, because the colors are like really black and white and dark. It's not necessarily a softer deck, but I'm just drawn to it for some reason. Let's see about this Page of Wands. We'll just get one clarifier for each. Scorpio. Page of Wands, please. For Scorpio. The King of Pentacles. Okay, so confirmation of what I was saying about this sense of security. It's like what you want to catch now is some sense of security. You've done blowing the shit up. You've done blowing the bridge up, blowing the tower up. You've done it, right? And so now you want to rebuild, to gift yourself something from that rubble of the tower that you created out of necessity. But it's not really happening, and so now it's almost like you're feeling like, was that all for nothing? Was that the right move? You know, there's a little bit of almost like buyer's remorse, I want to say. Okay, what won't change? Temperance. See, it's like you're trying to transform one thing to the next, but you feel as though it just won't come to light. It's not transforming the way you want or growing the way you want. I'm hearing there's a pitfall or a pothole. It feels like there's some kind of hole in the path, a road, or a fear that you're going to fall into this hole, that you might have created something that you can't even see. It's a complicated energy here, Scorpio. I'm hearing tired of being the bad guy and wanting to be the good guy, but that's like, you know you're the good guy. I don't know, it's strange. Let's clarify this temperance. Temperance, clarifying temperance. Yeah. So no matter how much time goes by, 9 of Swords, you feel as though you can't get this rebirth going. It's like the phoenix is like not flying. It's like it's not rising. It's growing, but nothing's happening. Nobody's seeing the big thing you did. They're seeing the tower, or they will see the tower. You know, this might be future energy. Nobody's seeing the purpose of the tower. They're just seeing the tower. And you're beginning to think it was just destruction for the sake of destruction without realizing the reasons in which you put yourself in a situation, continued on with a situation, or created a situation. Whatever this is relating to. Why is it stuck? Ace of Pentacles. Because you're looking for something tangible to come out of it. I heard a reward. But again, I'm drawn to this card, give it the time it needs, because you cannot forget, Scorpio, that whatever you chose to do, you did it out of the necessity of your own soul and spirit to keep living, to feel alive. Ten of Cups. You're really wanting something to come together, okay? So for some of you, and this isn't going to be the same story for everyone, obviously, but there's this desire to almost rebuild the thing you've destroyed and like show people the power you have to destroy things. It's almost like you didn't want to do what you did, but you had to, and now you want people to realize that you had to do it, but they're not realizing that. It's the gift is within you, recognizing your own process as a part of like your superpower. It's not something tangible that's in your hand just yet. For many of you, your family just doesn't understand, or your partner just doesn't understand, or your previous partner, whatever it is, does not understand the vision you had to have. And I'm literally seeing like something go in your hand like this. And it's interesting I chose this. I have lots of shit on my table. This is an amethyst, which is about, it can represent clairvoyance and like seeing into the future and psychic intuitive abilities. So it's like you want that recognition of like, I know why I did this. I did this. It was the best thing for everyone involved, even though you can't see it. And you really want those like opposing forces to just kind of balance it. I heard go away, just mellow out so you can move forward. But this is part of the process. Okay, the smoke still hasn't cleared, and that's okay right now. How to get unstuck. Page of Swords. Yeah, reviewing the situation from a new perspective, definitely. Going back, revisiting, I heard journaling what happened, and reading between the lines, looking for the things that you're not saying. What is it that you're not telling yourself or telling others? Because it's like a hidden, it's not something that you're ashamed of. It's like what you're not saying to yourself or to others about this situation is like that power. How do I describe it? It's like that's the superpower, is that hidden aspect that just brings something on. Everyone's like, holy fuck, Scorpio, what the fuck, right? And you're like, I don't know. I just have to do it this way. I don't know. Don't ask me questions. But deep down, you do know that this has been something that you've been thinking about for a while, and you've been planning energetically in your own way. 8th house, hidden things. So there's something that whatever's in between the lines or left out. I heard of the text message. Interesting. Is the power in and of itself. And I heard if they can't read between the lines, it's their fault. Interesting. I don't know if that's somebody else saying that to you or you saying that to someone. What do we have here? 3 of Wands. Oh, that one flew out too. Queen of Wands. And the Page of Swords again. So many of you want to be recognized. You want to be seen as this Queen of Wands, as someone very powerful, magical, someone to be celebrated. I heard you feel invigorated in your own way, but that it's like this manifestation of the power is not really coming to surface. It's going round and round. For many of you, you might want to do something creative with this energy you're just waiting to manifest. And in June, I feel as though like you're slowly going to start to see things fall in place, and you're going to be like, oh shit, it all makes sense now, right? And the Scorpio kind of like validation, because that always kind of happens, right? It all makes sense in the end. So it's like it's going to start making sense, but it's almost like a hesitancy to roll with the ball. You're kind of like holding on to it with these ropes where you're like, no, I'm not quite ready for it to unfold yet, because I don't know, there's a hang up you have about the way you did it or the way somebody responded to it. And this could be like literally anything, you know, it could be just blocking a toxic person. It could be ghosting someone yourself. I don't know, like quitting a job, whatever it is. It's not about judgments here. It's just about the message. Okay, but so many of you might want to do something creative with this energy, because I'm seeing this as like a mandala here. It's like looking for the natural repetition of your own process in this particular event. To understand it as this is just how you are, and it's okay because ultimately it works for you. All right, how to move forward. King of Swords. It's to master the thoughts around this particular thing. To not vacillate and go back and forth like, oh, was it a good thing to do? Was it a bad thing to do? You know, trust that you did whatever you needed to do to stay alive, okay? And master that thought. It's coming out here. It's quite a bit here, but we have the Eight of Wands again. Yeah, it's like getting that energy moving. You needed to get energy moving. The Magician, so you manifested something. We have the Empress, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups. You just weren't happy sitting at the status quo with the Queen of, did I say Cups? Queen of Pentacles. You just weren't happy sitting with the status quo. Queen of Pentacles wasn't enough. Empress status is where you need to be, where you want to be. And so you had to manifest some fast-moving energy. You had to do these things. So to move forward in the month of June, it's just going to require a little bit more trust in your own process and reflecting logically about the actions others took and your response to them, or the initial actions you took. It's like almost like get out of your feels a little bit and get a little bit more analytic with it. Okay, let's get some closing messages for Scorpio. Sovereignty. You did something to free yourself. You know, you can't, I think this was a title of one of your previous readings. You can't make everybody happy all of the time, you know? Can't make all the people happy all of the time. Sometimes people are going to get hurt. It's like, you know, you never want to maliciously hurt somebody, but there's times where you need to end a situation for your own good, for your own survival, for your own well-being, even if it hurts that person. You should never imprison yourself just to spare the feelings of someone else. You know, it's all about in the way we do these things, right? And I don't know if I said this, but before I turned on the camera, I did hear, we are the stories we tell ourselves. We are the stories we tell ourselves. So what story do you want to tell yourself about this? Building blocks. Happy, happy. Round and round. See, this is a process for you, okay? You build something up. You go on that cycle. You go on that carousel for a little bit of time. And then you get off and you rebuild. And this is your way towards happiness. Okay, so just work with that energy. It's you. Okay, let's get one more of these. That's interesting. I could have sworn I pulled from there. Fear. Okay, remember what I was saying about these birds here? You set them free. So there's like, it's like a double-edged sword here almost, right? It's like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, Scorpio. It's like if you keep things together, I heard, and try to hold it together, try to hold all the pieces down so they don't fly away, your ambitions, your goals, your desires for new people, whatever it is, right? If you hold that all down, that creates fear because you're stopping your own growth. You're not going towards what you need to go towards. You're not being sovereign. You're not being free. Not transforming is death. in the way of non-transformation. It's like you cannot fathom not transforming, not having change in your life. Okay? And so that creates a fear when you try to stop any kind of massive change from happening, or you overthink it, overanalyze it, or I heard overfeel it. And then yet when you let it all go, you're stuck in this place of anxiety, I think, because there's some kind of outward expectation on you, Scorpio. Like, why did you do what you did? That doesn't make sense. Or, Scorpio, you hurt me. And you're like, I had to hurt you because you were hurting me, right? There's something like that going on. Now, if you're a cross watcher, don't get all fucking fired up and upset, right? This could be your reading about a Scorpio. Or it could just not be about you at all. It could not even be about this person that you're thinking about. You be the deciding factor there. These messages are meant to help those who watch them. Okay, Scorpio. I love you so much. I'll see you next time.